Australia has joined allies Britain and the United States in naming Russia as being behind a major cyber attack last year. The government is now calling on Australian companies, big and small, to make sure their computer systems have up-to-date protection.
Foreign hackers were particularly busy last year, probing Western targets for vulnerabilities.
We also now know that they came from state-sponsored actors, and the Russian government had sponsored these actors.
They waged cyber war indiscriminately on businesses and governments from the United Kingdom to the United States and Australia, guided only by a known weakness in a common piece of computer hardware.
It could certainly be a pre-positioning manoeuvre for an attack on critical infrastructure.
Well, I'm not going to identify which organisations were impacted.
But the ABC understands banks, telecommunication and utility companies, government agencies and many private companies were caught up.
Potentially 400 Australian companies were targeted, but don't believe that there's been any exploitation of significance.
Can I just make clear to Australian businesses that just because we're an island doesn't mean that we're immune from cyber espionage and hacking, which we see all around the world.
Australia coordinated with Britain and the US to today name the Kremlin as the sponsor of the cyber hacking, as the West braces for Russian retaliation for the weekend bombings in Syria. Vladimir Putin's support for Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad and the poisoning of former double agent Sergei Skripal and his daughter infuriates Australia's allies.
How little the Kremlin cares for the international rules-based order.
Identifying Russia as being behind the hacking strikes serves two purposes. Firstly, to step up cyber awareness in anticipation of fresh attacks. Secondly, it's to bolster a global response to Vladimir Putin's bad behaviour, although there are doubts as to whether it'll make any difference at all.
At this point, we're holding them to account by naming and shaming, and I think that's an important first step.
What this really amounts to is calling out states but then doing nothing about it, and I think in a lot of ways that's worse than doing nothing.
And this man never seems to be perturbed, one way or the other. Andrew Probyn, ABC News, Canberra.